Let's start our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's call the meeting to order with roll call.
Callahan? Here. Houston?
Here.
Hannah excused. Kurtz?
Here.
Persauer?
Here.
O'Laughlin?
Here.
Jensen? Here.
Next item is to approve the agenda. I'll accept a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, first and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And public comment. The first we have anybody signed yet? Okay. This
This is your proclamation?
Jane's here to talk about it.
You go ahead.
After the proclamation?
No, you can do it first.
Okay. Jane, you want to visit about the proclamation we're going to read and what's happening?
Say what it's,
Yes.
and you're going to read it?
Hey, I see your confidence is already lacking. I can't read it. No,
You are reading.
I am reading it. Yeah, you just tell us what it's all about.
April is Prevent Child Abuse Month, according to the state, so all of our little communities, and this is really nice because I don't think I've been here with it before. The supervisors always do it, but you being on the board before, I suppose that might be right. But.
You might want to move over towards
In
the
the
mic, I
mic.
think.
Yeah, speak into the microphone so they can hear you.
Oh, they have to hear me? Okay. It's Prevent Child Abuse Month, and today, Mr. Hill is going to read a proclamation for independence to say so too, I guess, on top of the state. I'm from Operation Threshold, so I offer services that are geared to prevent child abuse through education of parents and being there to support them in any way I possibly can, have a support in their lives that is non-judgmental and keeps their babies on track with development and have fun and realize they're the most important teachers in their babies' lives.
Oh, very good. And Jane has been at this a while. We were together, I was on volunteer co-op board for a number of years, and Jane transitioned from volunteer co-op to Operation Threshold and does a tremendous job, very dedicated.
That's been working with families for a very long time.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's great.
And I will read the proclamation here. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem that can be prevented, and whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of Iowa, and whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse, and whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children, and whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas all members of a community benefit from creating conditions that support strong and healthy families, and whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families, and whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and maturing environment. Whereas prevention remains the best defense for children and families, now therefore I, Robert Hill, Mayor of Independence, Iowa, do hereby proclaim April 2022 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in Independence and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. So,
Thank you.
okay. John? Okay. I think John wants to take a picture. Oh, I have, Susie already did that. Thank you, Chief.
You lost your.
Okay, an excellent cause that we sometimes don't see. Things are happening. The agenda. Proclamation. Consent agenda. Motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of March 28th, 2022 regular meeting, Independence Baseball Softball Complex Class B beer permit, liquor license renewal with outdoor service and Sunday sales, April 1, 2022 through December 1st, 2022. Any motion to accept that?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's accepted. Financials, the motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any questions or comments on the claims?
The ICAP insurance bill of $145,000, is that a one-time, one-shot?
It's our annual premium, yes.
I wondered about that too. I thought, I hope that's not a month.
Chamber dues, are those also just a one-time, one-shot?
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, claims are paid. The other items are for your information, can help you to know where we're at throughout the year on our budget. The next item is a petition from the public, and we have from Habitat for Humanity.
While she's handing those out, I'll go ahead and start speaking. So I'm Pete Gomer. I'm familiar with most of you, but in case you haven't dealt with me, I am on the board of Iowa Heartland Habitat for Humanity. So back in 2016, I was the president of the local affiliate, the Buchanan County affiliate. And we finished our house at that point, and we realized we couldn't do this on our own on a volunteer basis. So we actually merged with Iowa Heartland Habitat, and it's been very good for us in the long run, because I mean we were able to provide more service. I mean, they have full-time people to do this, and they're growing. So I'm took a position on the board at that time. So I've still got another year left of that. But one of the things I push for is, obviously I want to focus on Buchanan County. I mean, we do a lot of work in Waterloo. We see that, and there's been some work going on Waverly. But I want to make sure we're getting some work done in Buchanan County also. So I push for a position that's called Rural Outreach Coordinator, and that is what Taylor is. So she just came on here about a month ago, and she's getting new, and she's spending a lot of time out here getting to know people. But I'm going to turn it over to Taylor Aaronholtz and let her do the speaking from here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like you said, my name's Taylor Ernholz. I'm the new Rural Outreach Coordinator.
Use the mic.
I've been here for almost 2 months, so I'm still kind of new. But like Pete said, we're trying to we're not going to build another house in Buchanan County. That's obviously a goal of mine personally, but my role right now is to focus on our critical home repair program. So that's ramps, siding, windows, plumbing, new roof. I'm sure you can think of at least one person in town that could use something like that, even if they don't want to admit it. So that's kind of my role, is promoting that program. I think it's really important in places like this because it allows people to age in place, or those families who might be a little bit below the median income line. They could really benefit from that to keep their family safe, which is also pretty important to me as well. So thank you guys for letting me be here and speak. It's an honor, so thank you.
Thank you.
I would say there's probably a greater need for rehabbing than there is for
Yeah.
new homes.
And that's,
Rehab.
I agree completely. Like Pete said, that house it's great, and I think we can all agree it's a great thing to have an affordable home, but people like where they live, and that's why they continue to live where they want to. So, I mean, I think we can all agree with that.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, guys.
I visited with Taylor and Pete down at Allerton, and that's where I asked about if they would ever be interested in our LMI program. And then I got thinking, I don't know if we can do them with our LMI as an agency as opposed to an individual purpose. And so that's why Al and Intercog have amended our LMI program to be able to do grants to agencies that would rehab homes too. And it's getting harder and harder to find quality people to actually do the rehabbing. And I was very impressed with the Habitat for Humanity group that was there that night that goes out and undertakes these projects. And knowing Pete's involved, I know that it will be done right.
And actually, one more point, thanks for bringing it up, because it made me think of something. So Habitat, we've got several parts of, the organization, has grown immensely. And part of that is the construction side. So it used to be a couple construction supervisors, and that was it. Well, now we've got, the construction supervisors, plus there's the neighborhood services and the repair side. So now we actually have a manager just for construction, because we have so much, so many different fingers going out to different parts of it. So it's not just build a house and that's all we got to do. There's, with the repair and the critical repairs that Taylor talked about, that will be a great way to affect a whole lot more people here in Buchanan County. And you drive down the road, I do it, I'm like, oh, that'd be nice if we could do something for this house, and that just makes the neighborhoods look better, and people feel better about their homes, they can stay in their homes, and makes neighbors feel better. I just think all around, it's a good program, and as with Taylor here, spending more time, getting to meet more people, finding people who need and want the help. That's been one of the problems, is people won't raise their hand and say, I need help. I'm guilty of, never asking for help because, I'm too proud to ask for help, and so I understand it. But we need people to ask for help, but we also need people to volunteer. We need people to donate. And, and that's where she's going to be very important in this aspect of, have that one person focus in here. I can't do it as a board member all the time. We do have another board member in Buchanan County. He lives over in Jessup. He can't do it all the time either. She's going to be the point of contact. So I think this will really help the program grow and help out our communities.
Oh, it's a wonderful
So I have a
idea.
question. Would Todd Sheretz be able to contact them if he sees a need with somebody when he's out?
He can work with them. He sees things. He could bring
You have-
a suggestion to them.
Perfect.
No, it's a wonderful program, and in our MLA Part 3 Saturday, under Community Betterment, they talked about rehabbing existing homes in a community to improve the looks of the community and the life quality of the people. So I think just another tool that we can use to keep our community moving forward. Tom?
And I used to be treasurer for Habitat for Humanity when Art Finnegan was the director over here, and it was a very good program. We did have problems with getting, volunteers sometimes to help out with the home construction and that, but the program, I was sad when it combined with Blackhawk, to tell you the truth, because I felt like it was taking the focus away from the independents. So I'm glad that we're getting that back here.
I don't think you're the only one that was sad.
I was, because I knew what we couldn't do and what they could do in dealing with the organization. But that's why with me having a spot on the board, I was that voice for Buchanan County. So we're building it back up, but we need somebody like Taylor that can be here, boots on the ground, and really making those relationships
Yeah.
on all aspects. So basically, how do we get the people that need the help together with the people that can do the help? And, so that's where we have been lacking a little bit. But yeah, I think she's already off to a great start. She's made some great connections. And, it's gonna snowball at this point. So with everybody's support here, it'll really help her out.
Well, thank you very much, and we wish you the best on your projects.
Thank you.
Thank you,
So-
Chris.
Oh,
Thank you.
It's another example, Jane from Operation Threshold, we went through that with volunteer co-op. The funding got tough and keeping staff at what we could pay, and we rolled into Operation Threshold, and there's 3 or 4 of the ladies that used to work at volunteer co-op that are still with Operation Threshold. So community contact is important. They knew the people, and people continued to take the services from people they knew and were comfortable with, so thank you. Next item is public hearing on proposal to enter into a general obligation loan agreement. Motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing for entering into a general obligation loan agreement. A motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right, next, motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and a second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in public hearing. Any comments?
I did not receive anything.
Okay,
How much is left of the road money? I mean, we had to pay the engineering fees, but that's an expected bill, because anytime you do building, you have to have an engineer. But
this is for the downtown facades.
No, I'm sorry, this is for the transferring the money from essential function, which was your streets and CIP items.
Okay, my
To
mistake, I'm
the
sorry.
trail project, which is a general purpose, and it falls under different guidelines. Same bond money, we're not borrowing new money, it's just altering the use of those funds.
I didn't realize we were using the bond money for CIPs.
There were items in there for example, the airport, the AWAS at the airport is part of that. It was in your CIP. The taxiway apron and expansion project, that's in the
I
CIP.
knew that was, but I didn't know about the AWAS.
Yes.
Okay. Again, we are just simply moving opening the way to move money from one usage to another, and,
Without a public vote.
yeah, so, kind of making use of it. Okay, any, Mike?
But I'm talking about the, what was it, 256,000 that we allocated for the road project? Is that,
I've got the number on my desk.
it's right around there, but other than the engineering fees, have we paid anything else out of that money?
There was publication costs and anything to Dorsey and Whitney.
And the Dorsey Whitney bonding bill?
Yes,
That all came out of the
yes.
the
Anything
road money?
for the street project, yes. Because it's for that project. So if any engineering, Dorsey and Whitney proceedings, and any publications
publication.
comes out of, for that project. So we can get a true, accurate sense of how much that project actually costs.
So we must have allocated more than 256 in order to pay for the road plus those other fees. Well, the engineering fees would be a component of that, but like the Dorsey Whitney, I don't think we,
That would be more of an Al question as to how things are allocated.
We don't have in the bond issue, we have a lump sum estimate in there for some of those costs because we don't have the legal fees.
Right.
But we do take into account the engineering and those
Fixed
known
costs.
costs up front, yes.
well, my worry is that as we move this money, pretty soon it's gonna just be gone. The money we allocated for the road and stuff. I'd rather see it used for debt reduction or maintenance instead of, I can see where we need to come up with the 31,000 in order to meet the trail.
It kind of is a debt reduction, isn't it? Because we're paying off what we went.
Well, the money's going to come from someplace, so it's, are we going to use our fund balance, or are we going to use existing funds that we've borrowed, and now we're not doing the project? So
My thought
It's
is,
gonna come
it's
from one or
borrowed
the other.
money, if we can avoid using some of the borrowed money, since we're not doing the road, that was a better idea in my mind.
Well, I think we really haven't come up with new ways to spend it. We're just things that we already knew we were going to get and needed. And if we didn't use this bond money, we'd use either our general fund or end up with other bonding for some of the things.
Right, and at, this level, obviously, we're not going to use bonding for something of this nature.
No.
But it does expand the use of the funds to general purposes versus the essential function. And we heard earlier, in a work session that, or at least I thought we heard that the council wanted us to be able to move this money. We do have to go through the formal process to do it.
Well, I want to see us
so-
move it, but I'd like to limit it to the 30 grand that we want to move,
Well, if
even
we're-
though it's over what we need for the trail. But
The 50,000 simply takes into account any unknowns that are out there. It gives us permission to use it on the trail. The 31,000 is what we know of. I can't tell you on any project before we started what we're going to have for change orders or anything unexpected. That's why the 50,000. If we don't need it, we don't use it. If we do need it, then it's there and available.
So would anything that's not specific here, would the council need to approve the usage of the money?
not if it's allocated through this.
Well, not any more than you already have through the virtue of saying, our essential functions are, and streets, sidewalks, I don't know, I can't recite the list, I guess, off the top of my head, but those things that are considered essential function in the course of operation for the city.
But I'm saying, if we used it for, as Mike said, capital improvement idea, things that, are we going to buy equipment for any of the departments, or?
That is not anything that we've set apart. We've showed you here in the proceedings that our purpose is to move it from essential function, or from a general purpose, to an essential function. If we're going to go out and buy a piece of equipment, those things have always come back to the council for the council's approval before we spend it. So I don't know if I understand your question then, Mike.
Then what I want to say is, first of all, out of the 256 grand or whatever it was that we allocated, we've paid off probably 50 for engineering fees and then the
Dorsey and Whitney.
yeah. So I would like to see us use as little of the rest as possible and put that back on debt reduction.
I don't know.
The 31,000 for the street, okay. 10,000 more for possible change orders, okay. But beyond that, I'd say, my feeling would be no.
Okay, what you have here is the 31,000. We just rounded it up to 50, so we go through this proceedings once. We're not spending more on the project than we need to. No matter which way you go with this, we're not going to spend more than we need to on the project. So I'm a little bit at a loss as to what the concern is. We're only using the portion of it that is necessary to
The
complete the
concern
project.
is that it's things like this that whittle away at large amounts of money.
Well,
All you're doing is,
that's what I was asking, Al, is anything besides these would come back as new projects the council would have to look at and decide whether they wanted to use the funding, right?
right, exactly. And
Yeah.
what we're doing and what we've said in our write-up here is, here's the numbers, these are the numbers that we know. Because we're going through this formal process, it was, we added a little bit to that. It says 50,000 not to exceed. It can be used for any essential function, in other words, general purpose project. But we've listed the projects in the bond issue up front, so we haven't changed anything there. But we don't want to have to go through this process again if there was something that came up on this project that exceeded that 31,000. So it's just giving the council, the project some cushion in there. But it isn't whittling away at the funds any different than we would handle it any other time.
So there'll be funds left over that either we could use what Mike wanted to, or if something else comes up that falls in this category, but the council would make the final
Correct.
approval.
And if it's under the general purpose, it can be used for anything in the city as far as the projects go that we've got under this bond. But if we don't use it there, I mean, moving it doesn't mean it's not eligible for essential function
I
purposes.
know what the purpose of moving it is, because then it opens it up. It's no longer strictly for the streets. It's, like you said, the general purpose.
It's for the
I
projects
understand all
you've
that.
approved.
My thing is, I don't want to see much more money. I don't even want to see the 50 moved. I'd rather see the 41.5 as listed there. But if it's 50, then it's 50, but I'd like to see the rest of it remain so that, if we're not doing the street, we don't need to use the borrowed money.
Okay, well, I think we understand what you're saying, Mike, and I think that comes outside of the realm of what we're doing here tonight.
Outside the realm?
It does, because when we come to spending money, that's when the council will decide what to use it for. Tonight is we're just simply saying, this is what we're using. What's left over, the council will decide if the staff brings something else. If the council doesn't want to do it, the money won't be spent there. So that's not what, we're just trying to free up this money so that it is available.
And I'm saying, I want to be the cautionary note that says, let's limit what we use out of that road money.
Well, and we have that in the minutes here. So any other comments or topic you want to discuss on this? Okay, I would take a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next item is, are we dealing with,
You have to,
okay, so this deals with this one here now.
correct.
Okay, so moving down, motion to approve a resolution to take additional action on the proposal to enter into a general obligation loan agreement and repurpose the bond proceeds.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? I think, Mike, we know your feelings. Okay, roll call?
Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Brussotter,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
No.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item, under hearings and ordinances, a motion to set a public hearing for April 25th, 2022 at 5 PM to amend Code Section 63.04, Special Speed Zones. Motion?
So
Again,
moved.
Okay, second? Again, we're just setting the public hearing. We'll discuss the merits and everything at the public hearing. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item, Code Section 167.05, Floodplain Management Standards, public hearing and first reading. First, motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing for amending Code Section 167.05, floodplain management standards.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. First and second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are now at public hearing.
This just changes, modifies our floodplain management standards guide to reflect any new construction, obtain 167.05, sub 5 is added to include machinery and equipment to be included in the floodplain standards. And it also modifies under, get the right number here, 3, parentheses 3, it changes it from 1 foot above base flood elevation to 3 feet above flood, base flood elevation. And that was a typo on the 1 foot to 3 foot. But those are the two changes in our standards.
Does this help with the purchase of flood insurance?
I'm not sure of the impact on flood insurance, but I think it's on what is covered by the flood insurance, if I understand it right.
And it reduces the risk too, and, of damage,
Well, going to, right.
making that.
Okay, any comments, questions? Okay, all right, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are now out of public hearing. Motion to approve the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All right, first and a second. Any questions, comments? Roll call?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
All right, motion passes first reading. We did put in here a motion to waive the requirement of 3 considerations of this ordinance prior to final passage and have this measure placed on its final passage for adoption pursuant to Iowa Code 380.3.
Since this is mainly a typo correction, I would move that we waive the second and third readings.
I agree. I'd second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Roll call.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Right. Motion carries, and it is now part of our ordinances. Next item is a motion to approve the second reading of the amendment to Code Section 17.02, parentheses 8. This deals with our doing away with the council committee
This
ordinance.
rescinds the ordinance portion of council committee structure, if you will, in management.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any comments, questions? Roll call?
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. All right, we still have one more reading on that to do.
We have one more reading on that.
Next, under resolutions, a motion to approve a resolution to enter into contract with Intercog to perform income verifications.
I'd make the motion.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any questions, comments? Mike?
Who's done it in the past?
Intercog has done it for us in the past
That's what I thought.
for this. The reason that we'd like to do it this way is we don't need to know people's income information here at City Hall. It's really none of our business, and I think it would chill some of the interest in participating in the program. If it goes to a third party, they just give us a, yes, they qualify, no, they don't. And that's all we need to know. So it really creates that third party
Yeah, I was
buffer
gonna say,
for
they've
them.
done this for us. Grant writing, this, and
It is a fairly intense process they go through. It's not as easy as it might look like on the surface, because they have to go through a lot of the background, digging into the background finances of folks to make sure their income actually qualifies for these programs. It is very worthwhile for us to have them do that from a staff perspective, time-wise, as well as, again, making people feel more comfortable.
Okay, any more comments or questions? Roll call?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
yes,
All right. Motion carries. Next item is motion to approve a resolution to set a public hearing for May 9th, 2022 at 5 PM in City Hall Council Chambers for the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the taxiway and apron expansion project and the taking of bids therefor. Motion?
I'd make the motion.
I second that.
Okay, first and a second. Any comments, questions?
this
Roll-
is 100%
oh,
paid
sorry.
for, isn't it?
80?
No, this is a 90-10 match.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? All right, roll call?
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes,
Jensen.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item is a motion to approve a resolution that approves the contract for the downtown facade Phase 1 project, and I think this is just because of a
Formalize.
change.
Yeah, we're just formalizing the contract. At the last meeting, we awarded the contract, we did not approve the contract. We did make a couple of changes from that draft that was on there, reflecting conversation we had with the city attorney and the contractor. So these contracts formalize that agreement.
I'd make the motion.
Second that.
Okay, first and second, any comments?
Were the changes significant, Al, or?
I don't believe they were significant, no. One was we had 60 days to pay them. They wanted to be paid in 30 days. We just changed that and told them we pay on the second and fourth Tuesdays following the council meeting. So as long as we get the invoices to the architect in time to review it and to us, we can meet that pretty comfortably.
Okay.
And I think the other one was, the original contract had an open-ended warranty. They didn't think that they should have to warranty their work indefinitely. So it's a one-year warranty on their workmanship.
that's it.
And that is our standard per the architect.
All right,
Well, I can certainly transfer all the calls that I'm getting on warranty renewals to them if they would like it.
Are you
You
getting
know, if they want to go past 1-year warranty, I get plenty of
the
calls.
extended warranties?
Yes. I would be glad to forward them on.
I understand.
all right, anything else? Roll call?
Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes,
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item is motion to approve a resolution that approves the contract for the downtown facade COVID-19 project.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is basically same thing as the one we just approved for the other. Okay, comment? Roll call?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
yes,
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is motion to approve the commercial restoration rehab application for the Trendy Tulip in the amount of $4,995.
I'd make the motion.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? I think we all know what they're doing, and
I think that's a high visibility corner to really spruce that up. It'll look nice.
I think so too.
And any merchants eligible for this aren't?
Yes.
In the commercial corridor. I mean, the corridor is
Yeah.
defined as this stretch here downtown, and then we
Yeah.
go,
There's a couple merchants that I've talked to along the way that, because I've gone around, and they weren't aware of it.
we've tried to put it out there as best we can.
Sure.
We've gone through the chamber, we've gone through economic development, but,
I was surprised at the people that didn't know.
right.
Is there a timeline on this associated with this rehab,
As far as,
completion date, or any kind of requirement?
well, the completion date will be tied to their building permit.
Gotcha. 1 year.
Primarily, we don't put a timeline on it, but the building permit does.
Yes.
Payment or reimbursement for it is, can be a little bit longer than, they don't turn it in and they have
Sure.
it the next month. But we try and explain that when they make the application. It's patient capital, we have a process to go through, but they do get the money back,
Okay.
Do they need to complete the project before we reimburse them?
yes.
Okay.
And they have to turn in all their bills and
Right.
verify, I mean, they give us an estimate of cost, but if their estimate is off by 30%, and we've seen that, then we can only reimburse 33% or 5,000, whichever is less.
All right. Roll call?
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, we're down to engineer updates. Mark, Brian, let you come by yourself?
Did.
Wow.
Yep, flying solo tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Just have two quick project updates for you. The first is on the 6th Avenue Southwest Trail. We were in conversation with the contractor today, and the fencing contractor will be on site tomorrow to install the fence. And we talked to the seeding subcontractor, and he will be here next Monday to perform this hydro seeding and seeding and hydro mulch on the slope in the ditch. So those two items are getting wrapped up here now that we got a little bit nicer weather.
And that's it for that project, isn't it?
That'll be it. Yep. And then on the Highway 150 reconstruction project, as you probably all have seen, the pavement's been removed along 150 from 8th Street to the south side of 5th Street. And the contractor is scheduled to begin water main construction tomorrow. He'll be starting at 8th, working north. So,
To tie into that, I did talk with Travis today. There will be a shutdown, a water service shutdown on Monday. On the south end, it only affects a couple of folks, but if anybody's listening, there is a shutdown scheduled for next Monday.
Will they be notifying personally the people that are affected?
Yes, primarily because I believe the South Pole is closed on Monday, so we don't affect that business. I think it affects the hardware store and Dairy Queen. And then it also affects the service to the cemetery and the RV
Camper.
washout on the west side there.
Do they know the duration of the shut-off? Or estimate of duration?
I don't know if they know that yet. They try to keep it, as short as possible to make that tie-in. Part of it has to do with, getting it hooked up, getting it disinfected, and those types of things, so.
I just think Dairy Queen might have a bit of an issue, but they may need to bring in some extra water.
We understand, and like I said, part of the reason to push the shutdown, instead of doing it this week yet, they push it out to Monday to try and have the least impact as possible and the most notification that we can afford to have for them. I just wanted to mention it tonight in case anybody's listening, that they're aware of the shutdown coming on scheduled for Monday. The risk is if somebody gets ill, we get bad weather, something goes south on us, between now and then we have to reschedule. But right now, it looks very favorable for that, according to Travis. So.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions?
Will they do the sewer lines same time they're doing the water lines as far as their date?
They'll do all the water line first, and then as it's being pressure tested and disinfected, there's a time that we have to wait for those tests to come back. They'll start in on the sanitary sewer.
Okay.
Yep.
Does, once they're done with this section of water line, will those affected Monday, will they be affected as we go north, or?
Following that pressure testing and disinfection, then any services that are going to be on this new water line will be transferred, and that section of water main will be put into service. So as it moves forward, there should not be any further disruptions to that group of people.
But it will affect the people in the new construction area.
Certainly, yep.
Yeah.
Because new water main will get installed there, yeah.
I just didn't know if every time they,
Right.
That's a good question, though.
yeah.
Be at the bottom of the hill or not.
Okay, any other questions for Mark? Thank you for
Okay,
your
thanks,
guys'
Mark.
work.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we are now down to council members. Catherine?
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Okay, Mike?
Happy Easter, everybody.
Okay. Brian?
Nothing, sir.
Okay, John?
Good, thank you.
Okay, Tom?
We're good.
Jen?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Al?
I just wanted to remind the folks, council members here, that there's a planning and zoning training session on Thursday evening. If you are at all able to, I would encourage you to attend. It is pretty active. I mean, it moves along pretty quickly. It's good basic information that we should all have, and I think it's worthwhile if you can find time to make it. I know Todd is going. Councilperson Hannah has expressed interest in going. And depending on what happens on Thursday, I'm planning to go. So if anybody else is interested, I think it is worthwhile. But we do have to get you registered if you are able to. It's in Waterloo, 5 to 7, 5 to 8, and I think they try and feed you.
Okay, Susie?
Nothing tonight.
Okay, Chief?
Oh, well, he's coming up here. There is also a Northeast Iowa Regional League of Cities meeting in Dyersville on the 27th, I believe it is. If you're able to go, they did set that up. They had to move it from 10 days ago or whatever, but that's coming up shortly.
That is at the microbrewery, right?
It is at the
Thought
microbrewery
I'd
in
mention
Dyersville.
that.
When's it?
While he's talking, I'll get the exact date.
Up until that point, right?
There's important things we need to be sure the council knows about.
Just a couple things on the detour. We've made those changes that we talked about last time. And I'd estimate overall trucks are down about 70% coming through town. We've seen a noticeable change there. We did get a call, somebody said, oh, we heard after the council committee meeting last week that that wasn't so anymore. I said, no, it's still there. The global detour is there, and that's what we want. Cement barricades were placed at the pool lot. We've already seen that make a difference. People are finding out the hard way that they can't cut through there. We'll continue to evaluate as we get into the summer. Longer barricades have helped, and just today, Travis and I went out and looked. We're going to probably end up adding a stop sign at 5th Street and 4th Ave southeast for the eastbound traffic, because as they go down what used to be 150 and come up, they don't have a stop sign. So we're seeing some close calls there, so we're going to add that back in. Today, there was a cleanup day post from the PD from 2 years ago that was shared on Facebook, and it went around, and it had the wrong date for cleanup date. So the easiest thing for me to do was delete the 2-year-old post, because people were sharing that as in our cleanup date was going to be coming up on the wrong date. So that was deleted, so we'll move forward when we get the new poster out there. Just in case any of your residents have a question as to why that date has changed or whatever, that they saw it, somebody did that and it wasn't right. And then the last thing is we just had our first dog go through the dog pound this week. So everything worked fine. The person heard about it. They knew where it was. So our information got out there. We've shared it, and it worked well for that. So we're good to go there.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dave.
Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Good.
I wonder if it was a little white fluffy.
Hey, I think Roger's,
I think it was a white dog.
I bet it was the one I saw on Facebook then. Interesting.
Roger back there? You want to talk? It's your one chance. Okay, he doesn't want to talk. I don't have anything to say, so I'll entertain
Mayor,
a,
it is April 27th from 12 to 1 in Dyersville at the Textile Brewery for the Northeast Iowa League meeting.
okay,
Sorry, that's it.
motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, meeting is adjourned.